Warren Buffett, when I was a child, told everybody the ideal holding period is forever. And he's famous for like one investment, Coca-Cola. And what is Coca-Cola? I mean, everybody knows what Coca-Cola is. It's the greatest beverage brand in the world.
It is.
And he likes it because it has brand value. Now, most people don't really understand what brand value is. They don't think that hard about it, but let me explain it. If I fired everyone at Coca-Cola and I blew up every Coca-Cola factory and plant, and I destroyed every bottle of Coca-Cola in the world, and I had to start the company from scratch, it would still be worth 50 or 100 billion dollars. It would still have a massive brand value. And the reason why is because there's 8 billion people on the planet. So how many people in Turkey know what Coca-Cola is? If I ask them. Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So in order to destroy a brand, it's not enough to destroy the company and the product.
Yeah.
I have to erase the memory of the people. I have to kill 8 billion people, or I have to reach into their head. If I'm like one of those X-Men, like Professor Xavier, I'd have to go into the head of everybody in the world and rip Coca-Cola and the memory of it out of their heads.
Any altcoins you actually following, like you think they've got a future?
Well, first I have a big view of the world, which is there's $500 trillion worth of stuff you can invest in.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have $1 billion, I could buy a building in any city in the world. I could buy land. I could buy gold. I could buy oil. I could buy oil companies. I could buy gold miners. I could buy Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, the index. I could buy derivatives. I could swap interest rates. I could invest in private companies. I could invest in private companies anywhere in the world. I could invest in, or I can invest in Bitcoin, or I can invest in other crypto. So there's a lot of things to invest in. Having said all that, as I said, the way to think about the world is you got a pool of money that you want to save. If you want to save money for 100 years, you swap a weak asset for a strong asset, okay? Figure out what you're going to buy that you're going to hold for 100 years and give to your great-grandchildren. It's got to be indestructible, durable, high integrity, right? So Bitcoin is the most indestructible, secure, durable, crypto asset network in the world, undisputed. It's pretty obvious if you look at the Bitcoin miners and the Bitcoin holders, et cetera. So if you were going to hold a crypto asset for 100 years, you want the dominant crypto asset. If you're an investor, well, would I invest in a company? Well, sure, I invested in Amazon, I invested in Apple, I invested in Facebook, I invested in Twitter. I made a lot of money in those things. Okay, the problem is you have to look at them every quarter, and companies have more regulatory risk, right? They might get unionized, they might get taxed. Apple's got a headquarters, et cetera. So if you look at some of the other cryptos, some of them look more like companies, or they're like gray market software companies. Like, are they decentralized? Are they not decentralized? Are they companies? They have software technology, they have functionality, you have to upgrade them every year. You have lots of hard forks, you've got developer teams. If they're not decentralized, they're competing against Amazon and Apple and Facebook. And so do I like them better than Amazon, Apple, Facebook? I don't know, maybe. If they are decentralized, then maybe they're property. But the truth is, Bitcoin is the only clearly designated property in the world, the only crypto property where it's clear that it's property. Everything else is a debate, right? And everything else has some risk. So you're taking more risk, and you're kind of taking competitive risk. Like, will Binance beat Solana, beat Ethereum, beat Cardano, which one will win? Right, and they're all fighting over being the most functional, highest performance for a certain use case. That's a technology investment, right? It's not saving money for 1,000 years. See, Bitcoin's not trying to add 87 new features. Bitcoin is trying to last for 1,000 years.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
And so there's a different idea. Do I want to own 1/21 millionth of all the money in the universe for 1,000 years? Or do I want to have the next great NFT platform, or the best one, or the best whatever? So they're technology investments. And when I look at this, as a company, our business strategy is property investment. We buy and hold Bitcoin, right? I mean, like if you thought that you wanted to invest in Istanbul, I could just buy up all the land in Istanbul.
Yeah.
But I could also decide that I want to build retail shopping centers and apartment complexes and office buildings and stadiums on top of the land. But you see, like when I start building stadiums in Istanbul, that's a different business than just owning all the land in Istanbul.
True.
And if I decide I could build a big building in Istanbul and then rent it out to a bank, and then I could go in the banking business, and I could have a delicatessen, and I could have a hairdresser and dry cleaner in the building. But don't you see that every single time I start to do more things, I'm taking more risk?
Yes.
You know, how many buildings in Istanbul have stood for 100 years and they're still as valuable as they were the day they were built?
They're more valuable right now.
The land is,
Yeah.
but not the building.
Yeah.
You see,
the building is old, obviously, but the
land is more valuable.
Yeah.
But if let's play it out a little bit further. In 200 years, I mean, the buildings will get taken down and rebuilt. Now, go to one of those buildings that stood for 100 years and find a business that's in the building that's a good business that's lasted 100 years and is more valuable today than the day that it was founded. How many of those are there? So you see the frequency is, property has a frequency of hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. Platforms, buildings, have a frequency of like 20 to 50 years if you're lucky. The companies, right? It's like Bitcoin's the property, the smart chains, they're the platform. The tokens on top of them are the companies. They come and they go. The mortality rate with these crypto tokens is going to be 99%. But it's not that different than I wrote the mobile wave and I said, the mobile phone's good. And so I bought Apple and I bought Facebook. And you would have said to me, well, Mike, why don't you buy 87 other mobile startups? There's 187.
I get you.
100 companies. I'm like, well, how many companies failed for Instagram to succeed? And by the way, did Instagram succeed? No, they got bought by Facebook. Okay, what's up a good idea? Well, that's not a company, that's Facebook.
Yeah. True.
Okay, so how many companies really succeeded? I would say probably 100,000 mobile apps got launched, and you can probably count 100 that succeeded, and you can count 10 that got 80% of all the value. So, if you roll the clock back 20 years, and I say, I'm big into internet. Okay, well, that's good. Like I launched alarm.com to do home automation in 1999. Okay, they're like worth $4 billion, but I had to spend them off. I didn't have the capital to make that work. And on the other hand, Apple and Google and Amazon are probably making more money in that space now. I launched Angel to compete against, to do interactive voice response. Okay, and eventually it got copied by Siri and Alexa. But Amazon made a lot more money than I made. Yeah. I made 100 million. Amazon must have made 100 billion.
Billion, yeah.
Okay, so the point is the idea isn't worth that much. The idea is probably worth nothing. The idea plus $20 million might be worth $100 million, and it might go to zero. Yeah. If you have 1 billion users, like who came up with the first streaming music play, right? And then eventually you had Pandora and you had Spotify, and then Amazon copied, and then Apple copied them, and so who's made the most money on streaming music? And it's a challenging thing. So the real point here is if you're a saver, you need something that'll last 1,000 years, and you just want a strong asset. You don't want to express an opinion about which technology or which company will beat which company or which platform.
What to do in such a situation? Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with first-hand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.